Welcome to The Sears Show. Join us as we explore medicine, health, mental health, mindset, and fitness, guided by lifelong seeker of knowledge, Sifu Raphael. He will lead us on a transformative journey with groundbreaking insights and extraordinary guests from around the world. Together, we'll dive into the latest holistic approaches to well-being and the profound connections between mind, body, and soul. Sifu Raphael's expertise in positive thinking, resilience, and personal growth will inspire you to reach new heights. Get ready for the Sears Show. It's time to embrace a brighter, healthier, and more empowered future.
5, 4, 0.
Good morning, Spencer. Thank you so much for joining me today. How are you, my friend?
It's a pleasure.
Yes. So I'm excited for today's conversation because we're going to talk about unique transformations. And I apologize. I know I had us like this, but I think that this is a little bit more close and personal.
Fine.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, not a problem.
So we were talking earlier about you live in one of the places that I'm looking to eventually move to. You were talking about that you guys have the best winter weather,
Yes.
but you didn't live in Arizona your whole life, did you?
No, born in Cincinnati, Ohio, which actually has horrible consistent weather.
Right.
Most days are gray and overcast in the winter. I
Right.
grew up in a little small town in California known as Temecula, California, which at one time was the fastest growing city in the country. When I moved there, there was roughly 30,000 people in the whole 10 to 15 mile radius of the valley, as they call it. Now there's over 300,000 people. So
Wow.
it grew very quickly. It has great weather. However, it gets a little bit too cold and a little bit too hot versus Arizona, where 72 degrees every day during the winter. Gets a little hot in the summer, which is why a lot of people travel and leave Arizona. But consistently sunny days. Where I live, Yuma, Arizona, is rated #1 for the most sunny days consistently year in, year out on the planet. So
Wow.
the Middle East, which is all sun, we have more consistent sunny days yearly than anywhere else in the world.
Okay, so we definitely have to talk.
Yeah.
You know, I had a friend of mine that actually owned, if you ever heard of Gold Canyon out there,
Yep.
and he owned half the mountain, right?
Oh, nice.
So he had horses. We'd go up on the mountain, the whole deal. And it was very interesting because they're like, oh, here it comes. I'm like, what are you talking about? And it was like torrential rain. But like 3 minutes or a minute later, boom, it was gone.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? They go, yeah, it's every day. I was like, that's pretty cool.
So part of Phoenix gets a very quick little burst, and that's about it, which cools it down a little bit, but
Right.
We don't get much of that here in Yuma. So
Oh, okay. All right.
it's based off the way the weather pattern works. Is we're so far southwest of like Phoenix that a lot of storms come up through the Gulf, through Mexico, and they miss us. So we get more, which is actually good because the heavy rain pours that those produce is actually bad for the vegetables. And Yuma is the winter vegetable capital of the world.
Really?
So 85% chance that if you're eating spinach, broccoli, cauliflower, or lettuce during the winter, it comes from Yuma.
Wow.
So no one wants to pay more for their vegetables. And if we get too much rain, it ruins the crops, which is actually not a good thing. So yeah, being very dry and very ideal temperature weather is very good for the growing season.
Nice. There you go. See, so you basically went to a different climate, if you will, right? From
Yep.
where you grew up and all.
Yeah.
But considering that we are talking about unique transformations, we want to talk about your personal transformation, my personal transformation, and our listeners' personal transformation, because I believe no matter who you are, you've gone through a transformation. You went from a toddler, right? Or
Yep.
from a baby to a toddler, and then from a young kid, and then into a teenager, which is a terrible time for some of us, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
I can attest to that. I don't think I was the happiest kid through high school. Just never really like. There are things where people believe like, oh, the popular kids are the most popular kids on campus, and the athletes are the most popular kids.
right.
I wasn't really comfortable in my own skin at that age, so I had to learn how to become more comfortable in my skin. I used to be super shy, painfully shy, as they say. And now my favorite thing in the whole world is to be in front of an audience, teaching
Nice.
and passing on information. Where I used to be in front of 2 or 3 people, I would kind of cower away and be afraid to speak. And it is a huge transformation. Once you realize I know the exact moment of my life where I was like, ooh, wait a minute, this is actually pretty fun. And I was like, there's nothing that an audience can do or other people can do that's going to affect my ability to believe in myself. And I was in college doing a presentation or a play, so to speak, in front of an audience, and they were all my friends because I was on the football team there, and they were all trying to razz me and get me to screw up. And I realized that very moment, that mindset of there's nothing they can do that can personally affect my ability to use my brain and control my situation and surroundings, that I was like, all right, let's bring it on. And I've had the most amazing career ever since that. Once I realized I love that attention, the eyes focused on you, because even if they're trying to get you to mess up, you're like, haha, there's nothing you can do. So I flipped it, and I am in control now. I have the power based on believing in my own abilities. No one can control that power unless you give it away.
Wow, I love that. I love that no one can control that power that you have. Excuse me. You know, when I was in I guess junior high, I was the same height I am now, which is 6'1".
Okay.
And a lot of the kids were not as tall, and they used to make fun of me. And
Right.
they used to call me like Lurch and all these other things.
Yeah.
And they try to put me down. And I was like, yeah, you know what? No, it's not happening. And no matter what, they would call me names, they'd make fun of me behind my back. And it didn't phase me because I said, you know what? This is who I am.
Exactly.
And I can't change my height unless I cut my legs off, but I can't change my height, and you guys can't change my height either. So when you realize that the powers you have within you are amazing,
Yeah.
it's just, sometimes we allow other people to make us feel bad,
Yep.
to make us feel less than. And I think that that's one of the powers that we do have, to
Yeah.
say no, not
So
at
we
all.
control that. You said it
Mhm.
perfectly. We allow others to control how we feel.
Mm,
We give them that power. And as long as we have it up here that no one can affect my mindset and my mental health, that doesn't mean we're always perfect. And it doesn't mean life is rosy and there's no bad days. But if we learn to control our mindset, to believe in ourselves, and to realize that we do control our happiness to some degree. Remember, there's no perfect life, but we
no.
have to give away the power of our mind to others. And that's where we start to go down that rabbit hole of, well, other people are not necessarily giving us the best
Mm,
vibe, so to speak.
yeah. I like how you realize that your own friends were trying to bring you down.
Yeah.
They were trying to make you mess up.
Yeah. So,
But
and
that's the case every day, isn't
yeah,
it?
for the
Almost.
most part. Now, there's good and bad friendships, and there
Mhm.
are friends, like there are friends you have in this world who you never address them by their actual name.
Right.
It's some form of an insult, and no offense to anybody else, but women don't tend to understand men's friendship realities of
Right.
we joke with our friends in a demeaning way, but our best friends never get called their real true name. It's a nickname or something. But we want to joke with our friends and we want to have that banter, but we as men understand there's that relationship, that bond, and that trust that has been built. So your real friends will insult you to your face and defend your back till their death behind
That's
your
right.
back. That's the way to look at it, is you have my back when I don't have it. I appreciate that form of friendship. And so we'll have those where it's like, I'm trying to screw you up, even though in reality, those are your most loyal friends.
Yeah, it's very interesting. You just made me you reminded me of a friend that I used to have when I was in middle school, going into high school, and we were never in the same class, but I
Right.
only knew him as Blue. That was his name that we all called him. We used to play handball. It was, hey, Blue, come over here, hey, Blue, that. And I never knew his real name. And if I saw him today, I would say, hey, Blue, how are you?
Yep.
But
It's funny. And those
interesting.
are some of our best friends that we don't need that to have that bond. We build the bond between ourselves and our friends, and we understand that that bond can't be broken by anybody else.
Mhm. So let's talk about a little bit about your transformation, if you will, and also what caused your transformation.
Um, part life circumstances, part injury, and part realization, I would say. So originally I wanted to work in the fitness industry in college, and I thought I was destined to become a strength coach at a university level, and then injuries happened. I was on the path and working towards my degree in exercise science, and I was working in the weight room under the strength coach. I did my internship in college as the strength coach for women's crew. Amazing hard workers, love women's
Right.
crew. And then I blew out my ACL. Okay, so what am I going to do from this point where the football team who I was supposed to be working with, I don't have that anymore. So I started realizing that, opportunity arose for me to learn more about the human body through rehab and through injury prevention and all that. And I realized that as much as I loved working with athletes, I really preferred helping individuals learn and regain skills that you lose through injury: balance, movement, flexibility. I loved working with day one types versus college and professional athletes who are already skill developed. They've already mastered most of the movements. Now, this is going to sound a little harsh, but with professional athletes, what you're mostly doing is hand holding. You're just kind of saying, hey, you need to be motivated, you need to do this, and you're just there. With beginner level, you're involved, you're in the trenches, you're helping them actually see that progress. For a professional athlete, improving their 40 time from 4.3 to 4.2 doesn't sound like a whole much. It's impressive, but I would much rather help someone go from 0 push-ups to 5 push-ups to 10. So through that recognition of my own rehab needs for my ACL reconstruction, I realized it was more fun for me to work with beginner levels and or the comeback stories. I love working with the comeback stories. So that sort of started my transformation onto the more medical side of the fitness industry, which then led to a understanding of human anatomy and physiology that was a deeper level than I had had during college. And now through progress and through learning and through the years, I've realized, you know who does also need that skill development? Kids. So athletes get it. They learn it when they're in 6 years old, 7 years old, 8 years old. But not every kid is an athlete. But every kid is a human and needs those lifelong skill developments of physical literacy. They need strength, they need flexibility, they need balance and stability. They need to be able to move. They need to be able to touch their fingers without looking, which we call targeting. So everyone needs those skills. And that led me to my current position, which is teaching physical education teachers how to implement a more skill development physical education style versus a gameplay where you kind of just roll the ball and say, hey, let's go play volleyball for the next 2 weeks. I love volleyball. I was watching the University of Texas and the University of Wisconsin playing the championship yesterday for women's volleyball. Love the sport. That doesn't mean that everyone necessarily needs to learn how to play volleyball. Everyone does, however, need the skills of physical literacy.
Yeah, without a doubt. You know, one of the things that I've always been in fitness myself. It's interesting when we consider what the physical body can actually do, right? When I was 10 years old, for some reason, we had a kid come by. His name was Mike. I actually knew his name. And this kid was jacked.
Right.
He was jacked. I think he was 2 years older than us. He might have been 12. But he was jacked. And we were like, whoa, what do you do? What do you lift weights? He goes, I don't. What do you mean you? So he started showing us, I do push-ups, I do pull-ups, I do planks, handstands, all these different things. And we said, well, we want to do that too. So we started doing it. We started competing against one another. Who can jump the highest? Who can do this?
Right.
And then we started a push-up challenge. I can do 10, I can do 20, I can do 30, I can do 50. Until by the end of summer, and then I don't even think it was the end, by the end of like a month of every day training together, we were challenging each other. I can do 50, I can do 50, I can do more, we wound up doing 500 push-ups every day for the rest of the summer, for the next month and a half.
Right.
And then what wound up happening is that I continued, and then I kind of slacked off. You know, I only did about 200-300 push-ups a day. And then this year I said, you know, I'm going to go back to that, but I'm going to do it for the whole year. I'm going to do 500 push-ups a day. So I've already, I've been doing 500 every day. And when you think about the accumulation of that, it's 182,500 push-ups in a year. And that's what I'm going to be doing this year. And when I tell people that, they're like, that's a lot of push-ups. I said, yeah, but you don't have to do them all at once.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the key.
In a row would be very impressive.
Yeah. If you could do that in one sitting, right?
You'd be pretty jacked.
Be pretty jacked. But so for me, it's always been about challenging myself, right? If you don't challenge yourself, then you're going to stay status quo, right?
Yeah. You'll really never know what you're capable of. We accomplish more things that are slightly outside of our grasp because we believe we can do it. 500 push-ups sounds like a lot, but believing that you can do 500 push-ups is step number one in accomplishing that goal. And too many people think, oh, well, I can't do that. Like going back to school. Oh, well, it's going to take 2 years. Yeah, but you're going to be living your life anyway. So you might as well take the step so that in 2 years you've accomplished it. It doesn't matter how long it takes. It just matters that you're working towards it.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that somebody said to me, well, you do 500 push-ups at once? I said, no, I do 10 sets of 50.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes more sense. They're like, I can't even do 50. I said, that's okay. How about you try with 5?
Yeah.
Start with 5 every day, right? Yeah. Do 5. But the whole thing that a lot of people miss is the consistency.
Yeah.
So for the last 730 days, I've been posting workout videos every day without fail. And I said, I'm not going to post anymore. I think I already gave them 730 videos they can look at and all different kinds of workouts. So I think I did my due diligence. I helped them out. And it's very incredible when people reached out to me and they were, not youngsters. Some of them were, 14, 15. Others were in their 60s and 70s, and they reached out to me and they said, thank you. One gentleman reached out and said, thank you. Me and my wife, we started following you, and we're working out every day. We can't do some of the things you do.
That's fine. But
we move, and that's what you promote, movement. Absolutely. Because I think that's everything, right?
Yeah, that is. And you said it. When we give freely, And we don't necessarily get back through contact how much we give. We don't necessarily know who we affect, which is, unfortunately, it's a little bit demoralizing because you just don't know the reach that you have. But it's also very empowering when we do hear from some random stranger potentially saying, I can't believe, but I just wanted to thank you for how much you have helped me. And it touches our heart because we do it because we want to help, but we don't also recognize how much we are helping with the random people who will be like, I just started watching you because you popped up on whether it's social media or YouTube or any different number of channels out there. We don't understand and quite grasp the reach that we have, especially when we give freely and consistently.
Oh yeah. You know, one of the things that you just mentioned is that we give freely, and to be a giver, it's not like if somebody says, "Hey, or if you ask someone, can you do me a favor?" and they turn around and say, "Sure, what are you going to do for me?" That no longer is a favor. That's a debt, right?
Exactly.
That's a debt. So when somebody asks me for a favor and they say, "Well, what do you want in return?" I said, "Nothing. Otherwise, it's not a favor."
It's not a favor. Yeah.
So
It's like
giving
a
is important.
gift. People want here. I want to give you a gift. Okay. Well, no, I don't need any payback. I'm giving it as a gift because it's what I think our relationship has been built around. Is I want to do something for you freely from my own heart. That's what gifts are. Gifts don't need repayment.
Right. Did you ever watch The Big Bang Theory?
Yes.
Oh my God, incredible show. One of the funniest things is when Sheldon is given a gift by Penny.
Yep.
And he goes ballistic because now he has to outdo her.
Yeah,
right?
he has to one up, and that starts that competition. Now it is in Sheldon's worldview, it's what he has to do, but the joke of it is you really don't have to continually do a one-upsmanship with your friends. Now, with your real friends and with people in your life, you want to do that, but you're not doing it because you want or you feel obligated to do it. It's because you really want to express a thank you and a gratitude for them thinking of you, that you want to show how appreciative you are of that. So it's if you like me this much, I'm going to show you that I like you even more, which can be considered a healthy competition.
Oh, without a doubt. You know, Spencer, do me a favor, in the private chat, if you will, can you put your contact information, whether it's your website or email? This way we can share it with the audience. I'll put it across the screen. So here's me giving you something so that people can reach out to you, because I love the fact that you're teaching and educating people who educate others. And I think that is huge, because when we consider you could be helping one person at a time, right? And that may take a long time. But when you can teach or guide a person and they teach many, then you're touching more lives than you even imagine. And you said it before, sometimes we don't know who we affected, who we helped, because it's that, I guess if you think of it, it's that ripple effect, right? When you throw that stone into the lake, right?
So through teaching, I have had the ability and or the luck in my life to teach roughly probably over 1,000 people who have posted exercises that I've invented myself.
Nice.
And they've shown their people and posted it on their social media saying, here's a great exercise, try that out. And through random circumstances, I saw it and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe that. I invented a product which helps with group training, which is a plyometric box, which has band attachments for stuff like that. My friend purchased one 10 years ago, and he was having his clients to this day use it and posted a picture of it with his 45-year-old, 50-year-old female client doing an
Wow.
exercise on it that I showed him. Let's see, he was in class 2009. So 14 years ago, I showed him that. And now he's still doing it to this day, still has a piece of equipment he purchased 14 years ago and is still using it. So
That's
imagine
incredible.
from 2009 to today, how many people that's helped. That I
That's
will
pretty
never
cool.
know those numbers, but that's the amazing thing of being willing to give. You will find out how much you ripple throughout the world. I have, if I've taught over 1,000 people and 10% of those people have learned from those, I'm at like 10,000 people. My math's probably off, but that's an amazing feeling, and it makes us want to continue to give back, give more and more and more.
That's beautiful. I got to tell you, it's such a feeling. I'm sure you were like thrilled when you did see that video,
Yeah,
and you're like,
it's
"Oh my
pretty awesome
God!"
because I'm sure there are other amazing feelings, but when we are educators, I tell people the best feeling I ever have as a teacher, as an educator, is the aha moment. When someone or the light bulb moment, they just don't quite grasp what you're trying to teach them. And then you rephrase it slightly and you see the light in their eyes just kind of click on. And all of a sudden they're like, aha, I have it now. To this day, I don't know if there's a better feeling in this world for me personally than having someone have the light bulb moment of, I understand it now, because I just personally I reached them in a manner that they're not going to have that information for the rest of their life. I've taught them something that will continue to ripple on through their life because they have the full grasp and full understanding of the information.
I mean, wow. When you can think about the grasp, when somebody actually gets it, it is such an amazing feeling because this is something that once somebody gets it, you can't take it away from them.
Yeah.
Right. And that's why I love knowledge but applied knowledge is way better than just knowledge, right?
Yeah.
Because so many people go to their graves with all this knowledge and never applied it. So that's why I always say that the cemetery is not full of dead bodies; it's full of dead dreams, right?
Yeah, true. So yeah, it's like seeing your parents drive a car. You understand what driving a car is like. That doesn't mean you actually have the ability to drive a car, which is why at 16, 17 years old, there's not too many good drivers out there because they just don't have the understanding. Being able to read is one thing, but being able to understand is completely different. And we need to spend more time understanding that knowledge so that we can manipulate and use and to the best of our ability, be able to explain and or reword or rephrase and really grasp and have the wisdom of that knowledge.
You know, it's very interesting that you brought up teenagers and driving because last night I had a conversation with a client who she was telling me her son started driving, but he's not excited about it. And I'm like, huh. And then she goes, all these teenagers they don't care to drive like we did when we were young. We were super excited, get behind the wheel, check the mirrors, the whole deal, make sure everything, right? And she said that some of her clients, kids, don't want to drive. They go to college and they don't drive.
Yeah.
Their parents are still driving them. I said, wait a minute. Is it because they're used to being driven? Is it because they're lazy? She said, no, they're just two of the parents that she knows. The moms are afraid to drive on the highway. So they've already put fear into their kids.
Yeah, that's
right.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough to overcome because it is instilled young because they're raised to believe of being fearful, which everything that we really truly need to do in this world is about stepping outside of that comfort zone. And I tell people it's learn, practice, master. And we learn how to do it, we practice it, and then we master it. And it does take time, But if we never step outside of that comfort zone, we never really accomplish great things. And those parents are instilling fear in their lives. So that fear is going to resonate through everything that they do in life. So they may never move away to experience life on their own. They may never drive.
Mm-hmm.
They may never do something that says, all right, it's going to take three seconds of courage for me to do it, but the reward will be a lifetime of that feeling of accomplishment.
Mm-hmm.
And
You know,
it's power away.
They do. It's yesterday I had a kid trying out class. I teach kung fu, and in the process, I have one of my black belts teaching him, and then I come over and I said to my black belt, I said, "Stop teaching him." I said, "Let's see if he actually can do it."
Okay.
And the kid had a little bit of a hard time, and I said, "Do you remember the lessons he taught you?" Yes. I said, "Then show me." He couldn't do it. I said, "Let me remind you of what he just taught you," because I saw him teaching it.
Yeah.
And I went over there and I said, "He taught you this goes here. Okay. And then this one goes there. Oh, okay." So eventually he got it because I said to him, "We cannot keep doing it for you.
Yeah.
You have to do it yourself." So when he did a little bit more, and then I said, "How do you feel?" He goes, "I'm getting stronger." This kid is 9 years old.
Yeah.
And I said, that's the first time a little guy said to me something like that. Usually like, "Oh, it's fun, it's this." And he's because he was working his legs. He was doing, like think of a squat and then
Right.
going down the row.
Yep.
And then he says to me, "I think I'm getting stronger." And I said, "You're getting stronger?" He goes, "Yeah. And I like it." I said, "Great." But
Yep.
not many kids understand that when you feel pain, because he was feeling the pain in his legs, he realized that that was making him stronger. Other kids just cowered away and they move away from it, right?
Yeah. So we never want to push past our comfort zone, but once we start to feel that pain, that's where the real strength starts building, where our mental toughness starts building, our muscular toughness starts building. It's pushing past that comfort zone that I just want to play with my iPhone and just look down at my iPhone all day long and past that comfort zone of the world around, because too many kids just want to stay where they are versus push towards greatness, essentially.
Yeah,
But that kid gets it. He can work towards that greatness now.
You just brought up a big problem. You know that.
Looking down at iPhones.
Yeah, but not only that, tablets.
Yeah.
I mean, if you go to the mall, right, any given day, and you see someone pushing a stroller, I would say 90% of the time that kid in the stroller has a tablet.
Yeah.
Which is
so
terrible.
We're addicted. We are definitely addicted to the technology of having instant availability.
Yeah.
So with some of my students, with my kids who I train, if I say, all right, you have 60 seconds to catch your breath, get a sip of water, they will instantly go and grab their phone and look at TikTok or YouTube or Instagram or Facebook. They can't go 60 seconds of just, they can't look around. They won't. They will instantly go and grab their phone. It's that addiction to having something in their hands, something to look at. They never have a moment's peace, essentially, because they will not just. Now, there is also, ironically, this new trend, have you heard about, called silent walking or whatever, where you go for a walk. Like it's a new TikTok challenge. Can you go for a walk without any technology? And us older people were like, no, that's just called walking. That's called having no other options. So yeah, now it's like a challenge to do without technology. And it's called, no, that's life. It's just, you don't have to have something available to you at all times, bombarding you with noise.
Yeah, definitely. When we consider, you and I, when we grew up, we didn't have iPhones or tablets or things like that. If we were lucky, we had a Walkman, right?
Yeah.
Or a little radio transmitter, a little radio that we carried around. But when you consider that we did more,
Yeah.
way more physically,
Yeah.
right? We either rode our bikes or we ran to somewhere. We did physical activity. And so many parents, that's why I said you brought up a big problem, because that's the problem parents are facing nowadays. They're facing the fact that, hey, my child, I have to fight them to get off the phone. I have to
Yeah.
fight them to get off the computer, the tablet. They're playing games to the wee hours of the night. And then all of a sudden the parents are losing control. And so a lot of parents, when they come to us because they want to get their kids involved in martial arts, and they think that we're a drop-off service. I said, no, we're not
Yeah.
drop-off. You come in and we're one of the few martial arts schools out there that actually, we have the parents in the same room that the kids are learning.
Nice.
And the parents, we all of a sudden we go, okay, go work with your parents. And the parents are like, what? The kids are coming in. Like, that's right. We're going to teach you how to work with your child. So they have someone at home to practice with.
Yeah.
Because,
Absolutely. So
it also, go ahead.
You go. No, I work with a lot of homeschool parents for teaching physical literacy through physical education. So the parents always ask, do you want me to drop my kid off or do you want me to stay? And my answer is always, I want you to stay and I'm going to involve you. We're going to do family sessions where it's you and your child. I will teach them the skill and you're going to do the same skill because I bet you need to relearn it. But then if I'm teaching you how to do it properly and safely, you can then do it at home because you'll see me for maybe 3 hours a week. If I'm meeting you an hour at a time, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, that's only 3 hours out of your entire week where you can learn it, practice it, and then take it home so that you can both master it in the comfort of your own home, where you'll have more available free time, where you'll have the ability to not worry about, oh, well, I'm not doing it as quick as I should be because it's a more relaxed environment at home in the guise of doing it with your parents. But guess what? Now the parents and the kids, without even thinking about it, are bonding. Because a lot of time, technology, everyone's just looking down at their phone and there is no more at the dinner table conversation in a lot of homes, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But now they're building that bond that our generation had because we didn't have a choice. We sat with our parents and they did stuff with us because it was like, well, we got all this time to kill. Let's go do this. Let's go for a walk. Let's go for a hike. Let's go play catch.
Yeah. Let's go to the beach.
Exactly.
If you go to the beach, how many people nowadays? Because technology, you'll see even people at the beach on their phones.
Yeah, they have this beautiful view in front of them, and their heads are constantly looking down at their phone. They're probably watching a video of someone at the beach.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So when you decided that you needed to impact more people, and you decided that the best way for you to do it was to teach other educators, what was that decision? How did that come about?
So I have a sister who is not blood related, but I call her my sister.
Mm.
She's a physical education teacher in San Diego. We went through the same university at different times because she's the younger sister of my best friend and she's 10 years younger. So she was asking questions about the program when I went through it and what I learned and what she learned and didn't learn. So she had questions of how she could help her students. And at that time, I was like, well, wait a minute, you didn't learn this, this, and this. And she goes, no, that was never part of the program as far as I did it. And then I started thinking back and I was like, oh yeah, that's because I learned it on the job after I graduated college. So then I started thinking, okay, so your job as an educator is to teach kids what I just taught you, but we're really not learning it. And then I started thinking about the adults who I work with, and I was working with athletes at the time, and they already had this information. But then the adults that I work with, the number 2 complaint I hear from adults after I want to lose weight is I have bad balance. Okay, that leads to injury. That leads to hip fractures and all those associated problems. So I started thinking, well, where are we at? Where's the disconnect between overweight, bad balance adults who don't know how to exercise? And I can reach you one at a time by working with you in sessions, but how can we have a larger audience? The larger audience is present every day starting in kindergarten. Those teachers who aren't taught fitness-based PE should be learning how to help kids develop skills. There are some amazing physical education departments in this country, but there are also some who just focus on teaching school like you're reading a book or teaching in a classroom. Physical education is different from every other subject. It is not just about reading. It's about getting up and doing so that you can learn, practice, master. And most importantly, it is the only subject that in school that we will use every day of our adult life. Our body doesn't change. Now with technology, we don't use math anymore because we just whip out our iPhone and start doing all the calculations on our phone. If we want to know geography, we look it up on our map. If we have a question, we Google it. But nothing is helping our bodies be the master of this capsule that we have, meaning our body. So how can we help more kids learn, first and foremost, to be confident in their abilities so that they're willing to try? A lot of times we have those parents, the helicopter parents, who are like, let me just do it for you. So the kids don't learn that failing isn't failure, or not being perfect isn't the time to give up. It builds that resilience. They learn, practice, master. Give them time to learn it. Give them time to practice it. And eventually they're going to have strength. They're going to get stronger. They're going to have better balance. And these skills translate for the rest of their lives. So when you're on your deathbed, you will have maintained those skills throughout the duration of your life.
Oh, yeah, that's beautiful. It's beautiful. I love the way you put it also. You know, you have to learn a skill, then you have to practice it, and then you can master it.
Yep.
A lot of people, they just want to learn it and think they can master it. They forget the practice part.
Yeah,
you know,
we want quick wins. Well, sometimes, now there are some things in this world that are quick wins, but the really great lifelong developed skills take a little bit of time.
They do. Sometimes a lot of time.
Yeah. But if you're willing to do it, nothing can stop you. It's like becoming a black belt. It's going to take time, but if you want to do it, nothing's going to stop you.
You know, one of the things that for example, where I have kids spar as young as 4. They put on full gear and they look like little turtles because, you know, and if they fall down, it's hard for them to get up.
They can't. Yeah.
But I don't assist them.
No.
And I don't let the parents want to run to them and help them. I'm like, nope, go back, sit down.
Yep.
I said, they got to figure it out.
Yeah.
And then I'll talk them through it. And then even like when I tell the kids go get a drink, their bottles, their everything is on the side. It's not near their parents. Because I say to the kids, you're here for class, give your mom and dad a hug. You won't hug them till after class. You won't go near them till after class, unless I ask you to go see your parents. And so the parents now know that if their kid falls down, if their kids are sparring and they get hit and they start crying, they don't go to the kids. I said, you know, give them a chance. They'll get over it. And then I'll say, are you okay? Maybe they're crying. They're like, no. I'm like, you can do it. Let's go again. Are you ready now? Not yet. Okay. You need a drink? Yeah, get a drink. Okay. You ready now? Okay. But if I allow the parents to come every single time and baby their child, their kid will never understand resilience. Right.
Yep. And you said it right there. They will baby their kid to, not that it's not bad parenting per se, but it is hovering to prevent pain in your kids is sort of detrimental to their overall development. No one wants to see their kid in pain. No one wants to see pain in anyone else. Well, no good human, that is, doesn't want to see pain in someone else. We want to prevent it as best we can, but fortunately / unfortunately, life is about overcoming that hurdle of pain, overcoming a setback, and learning how to build and improve so that we can overcome it eventually.
I got to tell you, I've had a blast talking with you today, and thank you. By the way, there were two other gentlemen who were supposed to join us, and it's too bad for them because I think you and I had an amazing conversation.
I agree.
Spencer, I think that, I do have four other shows that I would love for you to come on, and I'll send you the link afterwards.
That'll work.
I think you have so much value that you're giving people, and I definitely, I'm going to bring your website up again so people can actually follow you and join you at spenceraiken.com, correct?
Yes.
And when somebody goes there, what can they expect to see on your website? How do they connect with you?
So my email is spencer@spenceraiken.com if they want to reach out personally. What we are all about is starting to help more people understand, as I've mentioned multiple times, learn, practice, master. Life is about developing the skills that make our life easier. Life is about being able to walk strong, be confident, and still be okay with the occasional failure and setback because we know we're going to be coming back stronger because of it. We teach our teachers that physical education is not just gameplay. It is developing the skills of life that will last our entire lifetime. Everyone, and I mean everyone, needs to be strong. We need to be able to move confidently. We need to have the balance and stability to keep our body where we want to prevent injury, but we also need to have the right mindset and belief in ourselves that if we attempt it, we will accomplish it. It may take time, but we will get there.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Truly, truly appreciate you. Do me a favor, hang out for a minute. We're just going to say goodbye to everybody. Everybody, make sure you have an exceptional day, and we look forward to seeing you again next time.